Hey guys, Kid here with Burn 1 with a new deck profile, this time on Persona 5. This is currently the version of Persona 5 I've been running. I really like it a lot. This version of the deck I think is a really solid. I prefer this version over some of the other versions, though I think if you're planning to build this in English, you might want to look at some other builds because this version of the deck does struggle a little bit against Sword Art Online and can get kind of messed up by anyone that runs anti-salvage. So let's get right into it. So this is the whole deck itself. We run 8 gates in this deck, and actually we run no climax combo, which might be kind of surprising nowadays since a lot of decks usually have some kind of plussing combo at 1 and a climax combo at level 3 to end the game. In this case, we don't run either of that. We just kind of run a wall at level 1 to try to deny our opponent from being able to plus off of the level 1 game they usually run. And then also our main game plan is we do a war of attrition. Basically, we use a lot of early play level 3s to stabilize us early, and then also try to finish the game before we even basically hit level 3. And then from there, if we hit level 3, we just play the level 3 Joker that requires no climax combo, which is pretty good, but also is kind of RNG on the damage. So let's just break down the deck. Here we have the level 0 game. Our main beaters here are the level 0 Futaba. On play, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a thief character, you can add that put that card underneath Futaba as a marker, and then Futaba gets 1500 power and a level. It's really good because you can destroy your opponent's level 0 bombs and things like that. Makes it really awkward for your opponent because if they want to deal damage early on, they'd have to side this or attack an empty lane, which helps pushes you to level 1 a little bit quicker. And then also in combination with the ant support on the bottom right there, the card does become 4k level 1, which is pretty big at level 0, and especially being level 1 since it denies your opponent a lot of level 0 bombs. The next speeder we run 3 of the Mona runner. It's just a runner. It has no other effect. We only run 3 because the card itself, even though runners are amazing, this card has no secondary effect for the run. So it's basically useless by the time you hit level 1. The only other time the run effect becomes at all important is if you want to run away from on reverse combos, which is usually at 1, and you hardly ever see that at level 3. At least you're not playing a level 0 into it at level 3. Then we run 4 of the Brainstormer. It's whenever you use a startup effect, you can give something 500. This does make our 102k counter in this deck into a 1025, which is nice. And anytime you brainstorm, you get a buff something. The Brainstorm is pay 1 tap 2 mill 4. Every climax you hit, you search for a thief character, add it to your hand. Next, we have 3 of the ant support there. Global 500 has a secondary effect that works well in combination with our 1-0 event we run in this deck, which is whenever one of your characters attacks an empty slot and that damage is canceled, you can pay 1 if your opponent has a face down card in memory, and then you can salvage a character and your opponent puts that face down card back into their waiting room. Finally, run 3 of this. I believe his name's Ryuji. I always forget. He basically is a ditch bond to the 1-0 event, so we essentially are running 6 copies kinda of the 1-0 event, which is a really strong event since it lets you mill a lot. Onto our level 1 game here. The game plan at level 1 is basically we run this 1-0 protagonist change. They're basically 107Ks that get power based off of what color your opponent's playing. This way we can wall up at level 1 and kind of deny our opponent the occasional on reverse search effect. Each card itself basically states that if this card has a marker, this card gains the effect that if the card across from it is a certain color, it gains 3k power. So one of them is if the card is yellow or blue, it gains 3k, and the other one is red or green. They change during climax phase. So from the whenever the card at the start of your climax phase, you sack the card, basically send it to waiting room, and then bring the other card out. And then each card has, whenever it's played from hand or from waiting room, you can search the other card out and put it underneath as a marker to gain the effect. So essentially, we just have 107Ks here. They're usually 1075, and then with a 2k counter with a 500 power on startup, they become like 10k counters. So you can contest most lanes, especially if you have the counters. Finally, we have the 2 Mona counters there, the 102k counters, and then 3 of the event, which is on play, opponent picks a card from their hand, put it face down in memory, and then draws up to 1 card. Then you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, add a thief character to your hand, discard the rest, and then you can pick one of your opponent's cost 0 or lower front row characters and bounce it back to the hand. It's really good at bouncing away like 1/0 bombs and stuff like that, or things you can't really contest sometimes if your opponent plays something, or they have a counter, you just bounce something back to their hand, so you get the direct attack. The direct attack also in combination works well with our support, since our support does let us salvage a little bit more often if our opponent cancels when we direct attack. Finally, this is our level 2 game, and 2 and 3 basically. The major factor in the deck here is that we want to play the Goemon level 3, the blue level 3 early. The change for it is really good in my opinion. It's on play if you have another thief character on the field. You can draw 1, ditch 1, and then take the top card of your deck and put it into your stock. So essentially it's a 2/0 card that lets you hand filter. The change effect is pay 1, discard 2 thief characters from your hand, then play Goemon and then bounce the 2/1 back to your hand, and then play the Goemon level 3 from your waiting room to the field. And then the Goemon itself is during your opponent's draw phase, you can give a thief character 4k power. So essentially you usually give it to itself. That way it always survives every turn. And it becomes like a 14k wall, which is really annoying at level 2. And then it has on attack, you can pay 1, discard a thief character from your hand to heal 1. This way, if you ever trigger a gate when you're attacking at level 2, you can always pay it out with Goemon and then build some kind of heal advantage off of that. Generally, we want to stabilize a lot at level 2 and outlast our opponent is the game plan. Finally, we have 3/2 level 3 Mona. 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room gets -1 level from your hand, so it's early play. On play, heal, and then on attack, I believe it's 2 or 3 or more other Phantom Thief characters against 2k on attack, so it's 11/5 on attack, which is pretty good since it gets over most things. The extra power does help in making sure everything gets reversed, so your level 3 Joker can go off. Finally, we have the 3 Jokers up there, which is they get 500 power for every thief character, so it's 11k. On play, it does heal, and then it has the combo, which is, well, not really a combo. It has the effect that at the start of your encore phase, if your opponent's field is either empty or front row that is empty or all reversed, you can pay 3 and discard a thief character to reveal the top card of your deck for the number of thief characters in your front row. And then for every card you reveal, you deal X damage, where X is the number or the level of the card. So for example, if I revealed level 1, level 2, then level 3, I would burn them for 1, then burn them for 2, then burn them for 3. And then you shuffle those cards back into your deck. We have the 2/1 Joker support there. That's just to help our level 3s get over everything, make sure there's no problem there if we have to worry about them keeping anything alive for the counter or anything like that, since this does give level support times 1,000 on your turn and an extra 500 power to the Joker. And the effect of whenever the Joker reverses something, you can look at the top card of your deck and leave it there, and I believe you either leave it there or put it in the waiting room. Then we run the 2/1 Navi support, which is just a reshuffle counter, so it's 2/5 on you, so you can pay 2 more to shuffle your waiting room back into your deck. This is used to mostly avoid refresh damage, or if we're out a lot of climaxes and need to just reshuffle them back in our deck. And then we run the 8 gate. The 8 gate works well since we send a lot of stuff into the waiting room with our 1/0 event, and then also works well with, like I said earlier, the Goemon level 3 that on attack you can pay 1 ditch to heal. That way, whenever we trigger gate, we can always pay out the gate and have something to ditch if need be. Alright, back to the full deck here. I think this deck is pretty solid, especially in Japanese meta, where a lot of plus combos at 1 aren't really that strong always. But in English, it's kind of iffy, since the way the level 1 game works in Persona 5 doesn't necessarily lend itself very well for the Sword Art Online matchup, since Sword Art Online does have a green and blue game, which is the color is separated, so they can just line up their attacks where your card is always 4,000 power, which kind of sucks. But the level 2 game is really strong, so if you're able to stabilize at level 2 very well. You shouldn't have that big of a problem. The deck does fall apart against anti-heal. Anti-salvage would hurt this deck a lot. And then I don't think losing your wall against Sword Art Online anyway is that bad. But especially if you're going to hit anti-heals and anti-salvages a lot in English meta, then this version of the deck might not be the best one. You might want to look into the Wind Trigger combo instead, or possibly look into stuff in green. I'm not really sure, since this is the only version I've been playing a lot and I really like this version the most. And since I don't have a meta, or like my play group, we don't really have an anti-heal or anti-salvage being played a lot, this deck always works well for me. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about the deck or want to see other match videos and stuff like that, go ahead and leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and then I'll see you guys in the next video.